in the day, Adam Pond used to have beavers and there used to be a ton of fish here. But in the past couple years, the beavers have disappeared, the dam is broke, and everything has suffered, dropping the pond level over half. And it's still dropping every day. And this is Beaver Pond. It's a pond that has plenty of beavers, has a ton of life, ton of fish in it, and is doing great. So here's the plan. What if we can catch some beavers alive out of Beaver Pond and drop them off in Adam Pond where it needs them the most? Now, I'll tell you right now, that's a lot easier said than done. We have a lot of questions that we don't really know the answer to yet. One, is it even possible to live trap a beaver? Two, once we drop them in the pond, will they stay or will they just leave? And finally, three, will they actually be able to fix the pond dam? Because if we can pull this off with the beavers' help, we can literally save Adam Pond with nothing more than nature itself. So, let's move on to step number one. Let's catch a beaver. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I've actually trapped beavers quite a bit. And I guess you could say I've become pretty good at it. But usually with beaver trapping, you're using something like a 330 conibear trap, which kills them instantly, or a big old foothold trap, which drowns them and kills them not as instantly. But neither one of those traps is going to help us in this situation. If we trap a beaver, we need it to be alive. So, I went on Amazon and bought the largest cage trap I possibly could. This pond's also got a lot of flies, if you can't tell. Get off! You see it? It's back! Never had to take a box apart like this before. That is by far the biggest live trap I think I've ever dealt with. It better hold a beaver. Now my plan is to set a caster mound set, which is kind of like a scent post, but for beavers. But like I was mentioning earlier, usually you don't do it with a cage trap. And I don't even know if it's possible to do with a cage trap. But our only option at this point is to try. But after trying for a little bit, I really... the beaver's just gonna push out. This ain't gonna work at all. These flies don't get out of my way. I think I'm gonna kill some. We're gonna start with a new location. Get away from me, you stupid fly! That ain't gonna work. See, usually whenever you're using the big foot trap, you can kind of mold the space to fit your needs. But when you're working with a giant cage, you ain't molding nothing. You gotta find a spot that it works. And so far, I'm yet to do that. This fly. Unfortunately, this side of the pond just isn't working. So we're gonna move on over to the other side. He's here. What are you gonna do, buddy? And on the other side of the pond, I finally found a nice flat spot to set the trap. And this is where the scent comes in. The forbidden barbecue sauce called Beaver Caster. We're just gonna put a little bit of this scent on the back of the trap so that the beaver has to go through the trap to investigate it, to get a good whiff of it. And if all goes well, he'll hit the pressure plate, the door will fall behind him, and the beaver will be here whenever we get back. All right, guys, so here's how this is working. I think it's about 90 degrees. It rained 20 minutes ago. It's gonna rain 20 minutes from now. With what I'm working with, that's the best I can do right now. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'm gonna put a trail camera up on the front. We'll come back tomorrow and see what we got. We'll hope for the best. And it didn't take long into the night to where our cage trap had our first visitor. It seemed like a pretty good sized beaver too. I'm not sure what it was about the trap, but something set him off and he just wasn't interested. But then just a few minutes later, he decided to come back and give it a second look. And that's when he took one step too far and we got him. Dude, what about that? I don't know if you could tell yesterday, but I did not think this was going to catch a beaver. My plan was to really come in back today, put in a lot more effort, fix it. But dude, that's great. And this is not a small beaver either. Like, that's a big old chunk. I know it may look small, but let's not forget, this is the largest cage strap, oh my gosh, I've ever owned in my life. You see what he did right there? Roll the replay. Cage strap. Oh my gosh! He was sitting there slapping his tail. Usually they'll do that out in the water and it'll make like gunshot sounds, and it's meant to scare things off. Too bad for him. I'm not going anywhere, and he is. You hear that? He's hissing. Let's not forget, these guys are a big rat, so if they decide to bite you, it's gonna hurt. All right, guys, usually at this point, we'd be pulling up a big 22, but our objective's a little bit different. We're gonna be transporting this guy to a completely different pond, and this is gonna be a pretty cool experiment. Oh my gosh! See, I'm trying to grab this stake and pull it up because now he is stuck on the trap, but he just lunged at me. Oh man, he is a monstrous animal. Do you see that? He's lunging at me, trying to bite me. Oh, he may be bigger than 30 pounds. This dude's probably 40 or 45. Come on, baby. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a big old beaver, guys. That is a big beaver. All right, guys, we officially have caught the beaver, got him loaded up. I think we're gonna be good for transport, but now let's get him down to Adam's pond. Let's release this guy. All right, guys, we made it to Adam's pond, and as for the beaver, he made it pretty all right too. All right, come on, beaver. We're gonna do this just like we did at the beginning. Except we got a little bit further of a trek. But as we're getting closer to the pond, you can see how much it actually needs a beaver so bad. It needs help. All right, this is where we're gonna tip you over at. All right, man. This is your final destination. Do that and the door will fall down. There we go. Now, our beaver is released into the wild. He's taking his sweet time. I want to see him make it down to the water. Oh, yeah. He's not scared of me. He's not running. He's not scared. All right, there he goes. And then there he goes, and nobody disappears straight into the water. And there he comes up, swimming around. Honestly, I think Buddy's gonna like his new home pretty good. He's just got to do a little bit of work, fix that dam. We'll be good. And there we go. Beaver number 1 has been dropped in Adam Pond. And here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be running this trail camera, watching the dam, so that we can keep up with this beaver's activity. We'll see if he tries to build it back. We'll see if he completely abandons it. At this point, we don't really know. We've done our part. Now it's up to him to decide if he's going to stay or he's going to go. But we're not done either. I still think we need to get at least 1 or 2 more beavers and put in here so that he can have a team to work with and a family to reproduce as well. We're going to go ahead and name that beaver Adam 1. Adam 1, may the best do us to you. Let's go ahead and get this trap back, reset the trap, see if we can get more beavers. All right, guys, getting ready to reset this trap. But just looked at my phone. Adam 1 is already rebuilding the dam. That quick. Literally, it's been less than an hour, and Adam 1 is already working. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to instantly go to work, especially in the daytime. If we can get him a couple more beavers for support, I think they're going to fix that pond. And really, all I'm going to need is the trap and the beaver caster. The rest is already down here. All right, so with this kind of trap, here's how it's going to work. I put the scent in the back, so that means they could theoretically come from any side. But we want to make sure they go in the front. So what I did is come down in the water and find a place where it's almost already a funnel. Right there is actually perfect. I will put some of these grass right there. Let's bait it up with the forbidden barbecue sauce. Here's all I'm doing. I'm just taking a reed, sticking it in the back, just like that. And that's gonna be nothing more than my bait holder. Then I'll pull me out another piece of reed, and this is gonna be my lure spoons. Gonna scrape some of that beaver caster on. I don't really think I need a ton, but I'm just gonna stick it in and let it sit right there on that other reed. And then I'm even just gonna let this reed sit right there just like that, and boom. The scent I want is right in the back side of this trap. The only way for him to get to it is come all the way through to get to it. Raise the door, set the trigger, and this trap's good to go. At this point, Adam Wood is still working on the dam, and he's doing a really good job. But you gotta remember, one beaver alone can only do so much. And he needs a buddy, a beaver buddy, if you will. And later that night, we ended up catching him another one. This one will be named Adam 2. Just like Adam 1, when we released him into the pond, it seemed like he loved it. that went perfect. Adam 2 is in the pond and shoot, don't get much better than that, does it? And since I would like to drop in a couple more beavers, I headed out to another pond, set up another trap, and that same night, we caught a beaver. But it might be the smallest beaver I possibly could have caught. We caught a baby. Wow, look at that. A baby? Okay, he's not as baby as I thought, but he's definitely not nothing like Adam 1 or Adam 2. And after dumping him in the pond, I decided to back out for a little bit and just watch the cameras to see what they do. And it really didn't take them very long at all to get started. And working as a team. That is just crazy. You can already see, just looking out in the pond, there's already so much life that's hitting the water. We were getting a lot of different pictures of the beavers working together, building back the dam. And yeah, boom, just like that, they've raised the water level 2 feet. That's insane. Everything from sticks, logs, mud, whatever they could do to just fix this dam and hold back water. And at this point, the rebuild was going really good, and the pond had so much more life than it had when we started. But all of a sudden, something really strange happened about a month into the experiment. For whatever reason, the beavers went dark, and we wasn't getting any pictures or videos of the beavers. Something bad had happened. The beavers were no longer at Adam Pond. Alright guys, so here's the riddle. What animal, situation, something else, what could possibly cause the eradication of a small family of beavers that had already set up home here for a month? They were settled in, they were here, but then all of a sudden, they're not. That's not normal. Something's happened. And so at this point, there I was wondering, what in the skibbity just happened? But then I remembered about one thing we haven't really talked about. The other animals we've been getting on trail camera. Could one of these animals possibly be the reason the beavers are gone? One of the first animals we seen on camera was actually a raccoon. But raccoons really don't mess with beavers at all, so I doubt that's what ran them off. Next, we have a blue heron, some crows, and even some wood ducks. But none of these really have anything to do with beavers. And a little later, we have a picture of a bobcat. Which, although this is a predator and is a killing machine, bobcats generally stay out of the water. And a beaver would be a really big target for a cat like this to take down. But this next predator is a little bit bigger. A black bear. Now, although this black bear could potentially weigh up to 400 pounds, I still don't think this bear has anything to do with the disappearance of our beavers. And that's because, believe it or not, plants actually take up 80% of a black bear's diets, with another 15 coming from insects, and only about 5% coming from actual animals. So although this bear is capable of killing a beaver, I still don't think it's the case. But this next critter on camera could truly be the killers. A real apex predator that's capable of killing and destroying anything in its path. It's called Homo sapiens, aka humans. As you can see from this epic leg footage, I'm not the only human that's been messing around this pond. And the history between humans and beavers goes way back in the day. And it didn't really end very well for the beavers. If you're not familiar with the history, humans are actually the reasons beavers almost went completely extinct. Because back in the day, we hunted and trapped them so hard that there were hardly any left. But despite all that, I still don't really think these humans are the ones to blame. I mean, they don't seem like they're hunting, trapping, or mean any harm to beavers. And just fishing at a pond shouldn't be enough to run a beaver out. So I guess let's send up the drone and see if we can see anything else going on. When I flew it downstream, nothing looked any different, just a normal creek, just as it's been for years. But whenever I flew it upstream, I noticed the beavers had built a little hole. Nothing really huge, about the size of a short bus, but that is something. As I continued on upstream, I seen that they dammed up another spot in the creek, and it done about the same thing. But as I continued on up to the creek, I quickly figured out where the beavers had gone. They had moved away from Adam Pond and completely rebuilt a new pond. A pond that before the beavers showed up was only a small hole of water. And now, with the help of the beavers, they've rebuilt the dam stronger than ever and put together an awesome looking pond. And it's even got ducks on it already and fish swimming around in the pond. You see, when the beavers disappeared on my trail camera at Adam Pond, I really thought something bad happened to them. But it turns out, they just migrated a little bit and found a new project to work on. These beavers had walked upstream and rebuilt an entirely different pond, all on their own without any help at all. This is actually so crazy.